where I say people who at the time I always thought had poor mental health because they went from here to here really quickly, I just slowly over time went down and down and down and down. And my ma appeared and she walked in and she's like, right, what is wrong with you here? And I just bust out crying and I was like, I genuinely don't know. Like, I don't know what is going on. I don't know what's wrong. Blasting money like it was nothing to me. Taking cars out in finance that I should never have done, couldn't afford, going on all these holidays, clothes, like I'm not even joking. I could have filled about 20 wardrobes when I was younger. Every time I had an extra couple of quid, I was out buying clothes.
Just
for that buzz, just for that
buzz.
kick.
Yep, I went through a phase of that too, over shopping, overspending, just for that.
It's just to fill the void. It's just to fill that gap. When in actual fact, it's all about closing it rather than trying to fill it.
Hi and welcome to The Greater Truth of a Woman. My name's Lisa Barrett and I welcome my next guest, who is currently an elephant in the room because it is a female empowered podcast. But I actually met Graeme at one of his events called Are You Okay? And I believe Graeme deserves a seat at this table. So Graeme, tell us a bit about Ulster Motivation, because that's what you're known for. Yes.
First and foremost, thank you for bringing me on.
You're very welcome.
Always love an opportunity to talk. I love the sound of my own voice. So that was good. As I say, we met at one of my events that I'm running at the minute. A series called Are You Okay? Which is it's basically a mental health event with a bit of a difference in that rather than coming in and somebody listening to someone talk and go through all these different strategies and all these different things that we have to cope with our mental health, we put it on to the people that are in the room and say, look, this is a safe, secure place. We're closed off. It's completely confidential. What's going on? What do you need to bring to the table? What are you dealing with? What's the most pressing thing in your life? And then we try within this sort of community to give support, share experiences, and try and find help for people, really. Because at the minute, so many people need it. But I do that under the business that I have, which is called Ulster Motivational. Yeah. Self-development business. My catchline is I just take the bullshit out of people's lives.
And quite rightly you do.
Yeah.
I found your journey amazing listening to it. Now obviously I'm not going to relay because it's completely confidential, but I was very moved by your journey. It brought me to tears, and then I started speaking about what I was struggling with at the moment, and to be honest, I didn't even know really deep down that I was struggling with that. So I have to say what you're doing right now is amazing, and also you're giving up your time to do these.
Totally ad hoc.
Yeah,
totally ad hoc. The coaching business that I have, basically, it came out of the back of me having my own struggles. I came from, really supportive family. Parents both had careers. I don't like using the class system, but, very much middle class, if that's the way you want to put it.
Yeah.
No real traumas or dramas, up until sort of my mid to early to mid 20s. And I had this really, really naive view of what mental health, depression, anxiety, and all these things were, in that it happens to you when something really goes wrong, right? There has to be a big trauma, a big life-changing event. Somebody dies, you get sick, you lose your job, you fucking lose your house. Something mad goes wrong.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up with poor mental health or depression or anxiety or all these other things. So for me back then, wasn't happening to me. Everything's all right. Doesn't happen to me. But what actually was happening was, I always tell people I was playing by society's rules, right? So I was always doing the things and living life the way you're expected to live as a man who comes from Newton Abbey or, this country or whatever. Got myself a career, told myself that nobody really likes their job. You only do your job to get money at the weekend, to go and do things, buy a house, settle down, all these other fucking things that you're told when you're younger. This is what happens now. And for me, it wasn't enough. I started, where I say people who at the time I always thought had poor mental health because they went from here to here really quickly, I just slowly over time went down and down and down and down. And I got to the stage where I just wasn't happy. I didn't want to get out of bed. There was nothing around me that was lighting me up, fulfilling me. And not only that, I was on a fucking brutal path of destruction, A lot of drinking, a lot of partying, racking up loads of debt, giving people a really bad experience of me as well at the same time, which is something that when I look back on, I don't have any regrets, but I do regret that, at that stage of my life, a lot of people got a really shitty version of me, and I'm sure there's people out there now that are looking at me doing what I'm doing and going, hold on a wee second here, you know.
But that was a different version.
100%, 100%. That's a different version of me that's dead. So, when I was going through that, as I said, the self-development world had only really kicked off. All these people were coming out of the woodwork with the latest this, the latest that. You know, self-development and bettering yourself was the thing. It was the trend, for want of a better word. Trend's probably not the right word, but... And I got fucking caught up in it. You know, I got to the stage where I had no idea what was wrong with me. Like, not a clue, right? But I knew I was fucking miserable, and I didn't know what to do about it. I couldn't understand where it was coming from. And when you look back at some of the big turning points, I can remember sitting in the house one day, and I'm just literally staring at the TV, and the TV hadn't been on for maybe an hour. And my ma appeared, and she walked in, and she's like, right, what is wrong with you here? And I just bust out crying, and I was like, I genuinely don't know. Like, I don't know what is going on. I don't know what's wrong. I just feel like shit.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm going, but I'm doing everything that I should be doing, and I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, and I've got this, and I've got that. Everything should be all right. It just didn't match. Nothing, you know, what was happening wasn't matching. Now, in the same regard, I was going out on a Friday after I left work, and I wasn't coming home till Sunday night. Do you know what? Like, it was, from the outside looking in, he's fucked, right?
Yeah.
But at that stage, then I was like, I need to do something, and was taken to the doctor, which is fine. You know, I'm not gonna knock anybody for going near the health system. Was told, yeah, depression probably. There's a box of tablets. We'll ring you about counselling.
I've been through that myself, and not to knock, like you're saying, not to knock tablets or whatever. They have their place,
no.
And yes.
And see, for a lot of people out there, they are life changing. Yeah. They are life changing, and people do great things whenever they start to go on them. But for me at that time, I was just like, this is it. Just take that box and fuck off. Like, and that was a long time ago. We're over 10 years ago now, and the phone never rang for the counselling services. Like,
never ever.
No, never.
It is, counselling in Northern Ireland is bad. I think the wait list is 12 weeks, and that's easy. Mm-hmm. It is scary. You know, that people are really, really struggling.
Yeah.
I know myself, I've spoke about it when I went in back in counselling. I think it took me about 6 weeks to get in, and at that time I would say I was probably at one of the darkest periods in my life.
Mm-hmm. You're never there because you want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's there because you need to be.
Yeah. And part of what resonated with me, with what you were saying, I felt my mental health went slowly as well. Really, really slowly. And I had no clue what was going on. There was, you know, things were happening, and I was just like, why did I not feel? Why did I not feel lit up? Why did I not feel this? Why did I feel depressed?
And the worst thing is that bit of plastic that you have in your hand that you're looking at every single day that becomes your life, and you see everybody else, and it's the best of reel. It's they're on holiday, he's got a new car, she's just started this, and you're going, fuck me.
Yeah.
You know, that gap, but that gap between where you are and where you expect you should be just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. And when that gap opens up, that's exactly what happened to me. When that gap opened up, I just started pulling things and throwing it into the middle of it. You know, going out partying, blasting money like it was nothing to me, taking cars out in finance that I should never have done, couldn't afford, you know, going on all these holidays, clothes, like I'm not even joking. I could have filled about 20 wardrobes when I was younger. Every time I had an extra couple of quid, I was out buying clothes.
Just for
that buzz, just for that buzz, kick.
Yep, I went through a phase of that too. Over shopping, overspending, just for that.
It's just to fill the void. It's just to fill that gap. When in actual fact, it's all about closing it rather than trying to fill it. You know. But at that stage, then I was like, look, if I'm not going to get this counselling thing sorted, and I'm not taking these tablets, I was like, there's no way I'm taking them. Like, and again, I'm not knocking anybody out there. I want to reiterate that I'm not knocking anybody out there that takes them. For me at that time, it wasn't an option. I said to myself, right, you need to find a way. You need to find a way to. We know now there's a problem. You didn't think there was. We know now there's a fucking problem. You need to find a way to fix it. And I got caught up in the self-development world. So, 1, not in a good place. 2, absolutely skint. And I'm going out and I'm seeing all these gurus and all these courses and, you know, 12-week transformation program, blah, 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 blah. And I'm paying money for all this stuff. You know, I'm buying all these courses. I'm booking to go and see this person speak, or I'm, you know, getting onto this live call and paying them, X amount of pounds, when I was in no place to make
Those
any use of it. I wasn't in a place to make any use of it. And I'm not saying the material is not good, because fuck me, the material that's out there is good, and a lot of stuff I have went back to, but at that stage it was a stretch too far for me.
Yeah.
And what happened then was there was another cycle of, I bought this thing, that's going to fix me, and then in 3 weeks time it didn't, and you actually feel worse because you've spent so much energy and investing in this person is the person that's going to fix me now.
Yeah.
They have the answer. And then 3 weeks down the line, you're not getting anywhere with it. You're not seeing any result. It just puts you further back, and you feel like more hopeless.
Like you're on a hamster wheel.
It's just constant. Outside of that, at the time, I worked for a long time for a large red and blue supermarket. Other retailers are available, and I fell into that job. I should have went to uni, and I didn't go, and I got caught and was like, I'm going to take a year out. Gap year, go traveling, whatever. The company that I was working for then were like, look, we have a management program here. You'd be really, really good for it. If you're not going to do anything for the next year, why not? We'll pay you a full-time wage. Did that, and then 10, 11 years of my life passed. But I hated the job. I'll be honest with you. I hated the job. I really didn't like it. I couldn't care for it, but it paid me really well, and I was good at it.
Yeah.
I was good at it. I went in, I did what I needed to do, the bare minimum quite a lot of the time, but I got it done, I got paid, and it was all right. But the one thing I loved about it was managing people, So at one point I was managing maybe 40 or 50 people, all different ages, students right up to people that are, there for career and all the rest of it. And that bit of it I loved. The people side of it I loved, right? How do I get the most out of him, right? I can't say that to her. I need to sell this a different way, all that kind of carry on. I love that. I love the management side of stuff. But I then left that behind. I was like, right, I need to make some big, serious changes in my life. And I went and I started selling cars. Now, I will tell you that job that I did selling cars was probably one of the most beneficial things I've ever done in my life. Like, it was a game changer.
Really?
Like a game changer. What you learn about human behavior and human psychology as a salesperson is unreal, right? Absolutely unreal. And the second part of it was then I bumped into a man that's in my life that, the only person that I rank above him is my dad. Right? He's been so influential in everything that I've done since. And that was, somebody that I bumped into by accident, which you don't, because everything's meant to be. You bump into the people when you're meant to bump into them. But what I learned off him was phenomenal about how to sell, first and foremost, because I need to make him money as well as making myself money. But like the stuff he taught me about life. But when I was going through that sort of process of the self-development stuff, when you're learning about sales, you start understanding sales. Yeah. So I started sitting down and going, hold on a wee second. He's just made a dick out of you here because you got sucked in by this. And the theory on that is elevator speech, emotional hook. I started spotting all the salesy stuff, and I was like, you've got caught up in all that. Yeah. Like, you've got sucked in by that, not by the material. You've got sucked in by the come over here. Come here to get your attention. You get caught in by that, right? So when all that wasn't working, I was like, there must be something within all this stuff that actually does work. Because every person I'd been to, every course had 6,000 reviews. Changed my life, did this, benefit that, business this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, there must be something about it. And I took everything that I had with all the stuff that was there, and I went right back to the very, very bare basics. What are the most basic things that all these people are talking about? And I basically developed my own system. And the system I built was around literally the most basic things that we need as human beings to function. Yeah. So sleep, hydration, movement, a growth or learning mindset, and gratitude. Those were the 5 things. And I built this program, this daily routine for myself, because I was a stubborn wee bastard and was like, I'm going to fix this on my own. Yeah. Right. And after about a month or 2 months of me working on my own stuff, I started feeling a hell of a lot better. Right. Now, yes, my circumstances had changed. So I was getting guidance off somebody who now is a life mentor for me. I was in a new job, different surroundings, doing new things, learning new things. But ultimately, all of that wouldn't have been going well if I hadn't have been turning up as a better version of myself to go and do it. Yeah. So this was great. This was mind-blowing. And then, of course, my ego was running about the place like a dog with 2 dicks. I was like, I've sorted this out. Oh, I've done this on my own. Yeah. So that was great, and things started to get better. And I then returned to a whole load of the material that I had been looking at, and returned to a whole load of the self-development books and all that I had read, and things were starting to make a wee bit more sense. But I took a decision one day, and I was like, I need to give something back here in this. I want to do something in this. And I wasn't sure what it was going to be. But we all know, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, you follow all these motivational pages and business pages. And I thought, I'm going to set one of these up. I'm not going to have a name on it. I'm not going to put my face on it. I'm just going to type up some of the stuff that...
So you were completely anonymous
Completely anonymous. And I used it as a bit of like a digital journal. So I would just sort of write about things I was thinking about, or write about things that I made sense of, that I thought if somebody else is out there struggling with that might help. And I set this page up, and as I say, I was sitting in the house one day watching the rugby. Ulster were on the TV, and I was like, what am I going to call this motivational page? I need to get this going, set it all up. I was like, Ulster Motivational, that'll do, right? Bang. Because I thought in my head, I was like, Ulster Motivational, people from here will go, oh, what's that? Fine, that'll do. Logo maker, right? Went on and spent 40 quid, and all it came back with was this big orange square with a big capital U in it, and I was like, that'll do, 100%. 40 quid, you'll do me.
What was even the method behind the
I have no idea. It just it asks you to put your details in, the name of the business. So I just put it in, and that's what I came up with. And it was like the second thing, and I was like, right, that'll do. Just go with it, right? So I set the page up, and I started posting stuff onto the page, and then nobody was really following it for a while. Then I got a couple of followers. Then people were liking the stuff, and it started to gain a bit of traction. Yeah. But one of the things that I do every day without fail, apart from now because I've only got one leg, is out walking. So if you live down around Newton Abbey, you will see me in the morning if you're up early enough to catch me, or in the afternoon and evening, and I'm out pounding the roads. And I call it free therapy, right? It's something that I have to do every day just to keep me level. It completely zones me out. It calms me down. I get my best ideas. I do my best thinking. If I need to ring somebody about something really important, I'll do it when I'm out on a dander. It brings out the best in me. So I started taking photographs when I was out walking, and then using them as there's the background, and then putting the text over it and stuff.
Instagram.
Right? So I'm throwing that stuff up on the Instagram, and then at a load of group chats, as we all do, people going, who is this? Because there's that bridge down the park beside us, or that's the lane down the back of the spar. People start talking about it. Yeah. And I shit the bed. I was like, oh, right, hold on a wee second here. I think people are going to start asking questions about this. So anyway, kept going. Page started growing and growing. Started getting more likes. And then the strangest thing happens, and this is where I say this business came out of an accident. People started messaging the page then and going, love that quote, or I understand that, or thanks for putting that up, really love your photos and stuff. But these were people that I knew. Oh, wow. And again, I shit the bed. I was like, what do I do here? What is this becoming here? I didn't know if... The thing that came into my head was, I was like, you're talking about all the stuff that you have done and all the stuff that you've been through. Are you allowed... Is that advice? Are you allowed to do that? Do you need to have a qualification? Do you need to be certified? All these different things. So I started just chipping people back the odd message. Oh, thanks, dead on, 100%, great, da-da-da-da-da. And then that developed into people building a bit of a relationship in the inbox. And then the problems started to come out. I'm going through this. I've been through that. I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z. And at that point, then I freaked out. I was like, if this is a faceless Instagram page, right? And you're reaching out to it, and you're starting to tell your story and tell your problems and all your struggles, you haven't fucking spoke to anybody else. No one.
I agree. I've had that with the personal training, which is why the podcast. So I completely, it can be overwhelming, and you think, wow, I'm not a counsellor, but I want to help people. 100%.
For me, back whenever I was going through all my stuff, I found it far, far easier to talk to strangers, talk to people that weren't. And that's not, like, listen, I have a massive, huge family around me. Like, there's only me and my brother, my mum and dad. I've 2 aunties. All my cousins live within a stone's throw. Like, we all lived together. There was a tribe of us, right? Well, there still is. The tribe of us whenever we were younger. I had loads of people around me, but I didn't like coming to them with my stuff because we're all so close. We knew about everything that was going on in the family. Everybody had their own shit. I was like, I don't want to bring more to the table. Now, I will say this to anybody listening. In hindsight, it is probably the wrong move. speak to anybody, you know. But if you've got a relationship with someone that you can trust, speak to fucking them.
Yeah.
But when people were messaging my page, then I understood it, because it was like, to be fair, you didn't want to bring shit to somebody else's door here, so I can kind of get it. But as I say, if I'm the first place that they've went to reach out, they haven't reached out to anybody else, and if I fuck this up, this is their first experience of reaching out.
Yeah.
If I make a mess of this, they won't reach out to anybody else. So I was like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? And the other thing about it is, there was 5 people in the inbox, and I knew them all.
Wow.
And I knew that there were people that would never speak to me first and foremost. Like, we didn't have that kind of relationship where they would speak to me about stuff. But there were people from the outside looking in. You're going, how are you going? You don't look like you're going through this. This doesn't match. I'm seeing what you're like when you're out, and I'm not getting.
Yeah, but that is the thing with mental health.
100%. So I was like, you're going to have to do something. And I thought to myself, look, just talk about what you have went through. Don't go into song and verse about different advice or suggestions on what they should or shouldn't do. Just literally tell them what you did and leave it at that, right? And that's the safety net for me, for want of a better term. Started to do that, and people started to get a bit of traction. And like, I have no idea about their complete history. I don't know if they were working on anything else in the background. I don't know if they were going, but they were coming back to me and saying, I've started doing a couple of those things, and I'm feeling better, or I'm feeling hopeful, or I've went and had that awkward conversation, or I've decided I'm going to do this. And the buzz you get off that when you, well, it was probably a two-edged sword here. It was probably relief on my part, because I'm going, right, that worked. But at the same time, see the buzz of knowing I've helped somebody here.
Yeah,
you know,
amazing.
Like, it was unreal. And I thought, right, well done. Don't get in as deep with anybody else here, because you're literally just doing this for sport. You know, you're literally just doing this as, you know, a side project or whatever.
Yeah.
Then the mistake was made. I went to post something onto the page, and I posted it up onto my own Instagram by accident.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was on for 30 seconds. Like, it might not even have been 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And I deleted it, took it down, and I left it for a while, and then I put it up on the Ulster Motivational page. But like I said, there was a bit of hype going on in a couple of my group chats trying to work out who this page was. But there's a fella that I'm friendly with who, he was literally making it his life's mission. He was like, I will find out who this is.
Is that not a Northern Irish thing anyway?
He was like, I am going to find out who, and he persisted and persisted and persisted. And whenever I put it up on the Ulster Motivational page, literally within 2 minutes, he messaged me. He's like, it's you. And I was just like, no. And fair play to you, Colin. Appreciate it. Put back me in the corner, mate. But
for the best.
100%. I begged him. I was like, please don't tell anybody. I was like, because I don't know. At this stage, I'm still like, am I allowed to do this? Am I legally allowed to do this? I was so feared of it. I was like, please don't tell anybody. And to be fair to him, he didn't at the time, and then it all came out. Other people started to notice, and then before you know it, everybody knew it was me.
Everybody knew.
So
then you just announced.
Yeah, pretty much. And the 4 to 5 people that were in the inbox that I had been having those conversations with went ballistic, like off the wall.
Really?
Off the wall, completely off the wall. And I get it. It's the embarrassment factor for them, because they're going, I've just laid my life on the line to you, and I know who you are, you know. And I get it. I totally get it. Even to this day, I totally understand it.
Yeah.
For some of those people, I wasn't the person that they would have wanted to have reached out to, because they only have that vision of that old version of me, that old absolute idiot back in the day, you know. And I get it. Like, I totally get it. But then I thought to myself, you're in this now, you may as well challenge it back. And I says, right, okay, fair enough. But did it work? Yeah. I actually made a wee bit of traction here, or changed this, or that's happened. So I'm not happy about it. But to be fair, in a roundabout way, you've helped me here. And I was like, right, good. I was like, right, I've made peace with this bit now. But there was one of them who just went off the radar, like absolutely ballistic.
Oh wow.
Just said to me, don't ever speak to me again. Don't talk to my brother again. Don't ever come in contact with me. And I see them. They live local to me. Like, I see them quite regularly. Like, and they'll go out of their way to walk away from me, or they'll blank me, and I totally get it. I totally get it. It's entirely up to them, entirely up to them. I understand it. But I was a bit disappointed because I had helped them too.
Yeah.
Not for me. It wasn't disappointed for me. I was disappointed for them.
Yeah.
Because, again, the thing I was trying not to do, I did. I made a really shitty experience of them reaching out,
Yeah.
but
it just shows you about the impact that a powerful page like that can have, being anonymous, that people are actually willing to reach out and say something that they haven't said to their own loved ones, family.
Even now, like I mean, I'm in the space now. Even now, I read stuff on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and it still gets me. I'm like, come on, right? That's brilliant. Let's go. you never know where the inspiration is going to come from, and that's what it was for me back then. But after that, then it just kind of snowballed. There was a downtime, sort of down period where I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like, I'm out. That's me done with this now. There was awkward conversations with people who are going, you doing that? And I'm like, but you need to sort of see where I'm coming from here. I was like, yes, 100%. I'll agree with you. Back then wasn't great. I was like, but I'm far better now than I ever was. So there was a bit of a downtime where I didn't really do much with it, and I was toying with deleting it or taking it away or whatever. And then I thought, you know what, just go with it, because I got something out of it too. Yeah. Even like doing the posts and quotes and everything. I loved that bit of it. I loved doing that wee bit of it because I felt like you're still giving something back.
You're giving something, yeah.
And it was something that kept me accountable too, because a lot of the stuff, as I said, that I was putting out there was stuff I was writing down in my journal every day too. So it kind of kept me accountable to looking after myself and keeping things going. And it just grew. It just grew and grew and grew and grew into what it is today.
It's amazing. Your journey is amazing. And do you still work on cars, or do you?
No.
Did you give that up to do this?
We gave that up. So I gave that up last year. After about sort of 6.5, 7 years. The reasons behind it were that, could I have done that for the rest of my days? Yes, absolutely. I absolutely loved that job. I love the people. I love the place that I worked. It was great. Could I have went and done it? Yes. But when you're in sales, you're 100 different people every day.
Yeah.
Right? So you're mirroring your customer. So if you come in and you've got a wee bit of a country twang or whatever, you've got a wee bit of a country twang. You're not manipulating people, but you're making them at ease, right?
Yes.
You're mirroring your customer. So during the day, you're yourself, but you're not really yourself. And then at night, whenever I went home, I'm just me. I'm just raw, right? This is what I do. You can do it if you want, or if you don't, fuck away off, right? It's as straightforward as that, right?
Yeah.
So I had this sort of clash of, I feel better being that person than being this person, And then what happened was, it got to a stage where I wasn't probably performing as much as it should have been. I wasn't performing to the level that I could have been performing. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And like I said, the guy that I worked for, he pulled me on Monday and he was like, what are you going to do? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, we need to get you another job. And I was like, anybody else out there, your boss has that conversation with you, you're like, he's like, this isn't, you're not happy coming in here anymore. He says, what do I need to do to help you? And that's where I say, like, he is without doubt the most influential man outside my father in my life, bar none. And he was like, you need to do something. You need to change.
You need to do something with this.
I was doing work for Ulster Motivational on the computer in work, and he knew about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and he just let it go. He let it go, and he covered for me an awful lot, and I did hate that, like. But he's like, if it's not lighting you up, he says, you need to change it. He says, and I'll back you up. I'll help you with whatever you need to do. So at that stage, then I took another job as right, I'm stepping away from this, and I'm going to pursue this. And selling cars is 60 hours a week. Like, it's constant. You're always on it, and you can't give yourself to something else as much as you would like to doing that. So I took another job for a while as like a halfway house, and then in February I left that too and just went and doubled down on trying to get this off the ground. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Your event, I think, is phenomenal, and the fact that it's changing people. Have you done many of them up to date? Now, I know the one I was at was the first female only one, wasn't it?
First all women.
It had such an impact on me, and also my friend Nikki was with me, and it says it's such an impact on her. We came away bouncing.
Yeah.
Even though we were sharing, sharing our, what we were feeling, struggling with. Yeah. But it made such an impact on us, and listening to other people and just supporting people in the room. It was wonderful.
I got to the stage where it was, you're messaging all these people who are messaging the page all the time, and you know they're coming to you going, "I need help. What have you got?" And if there was 10 people message my page a week,
Yeah.
there's probably only 3 of them that I can help with what I have. The other 7 are really, really specific challenges like drug addiction, abusive relationship, you know, all these things that I'm not qualified or have enough experience on in any way
Yeah.
to help with, right? And there's a lot of guilt with that when someone's, again, if you go back to where this started, there's a lot of guilt with that because people are reaching out and going, I need help. And I'm going, I don't know about addiction, you know, I never, all right, you know, call for what it is. I had a healthy relationship with drink for an awful long time, but I never got involved in drugs.
Yeah.
I had a small period where I arsed about with prescription pain meds for a while, but I never fucked about with drugs at all, right? I have so many different views on it and all the rest of it, but never got near it. And someone's come to me and going, you know, I'm £300 a week here. I can't. I don't know the best thing to do. So what I did then was I got myself signed up as a mental health first aider for me to be able to signpost people. Amazing. Because it was going, all these people are coming. Yes, there's people that I can help, and there's people I'll put through my course and, you know, work with and all the rest of it. But there's such a big body of people here that outweighs the people that I can actually work with who need specific help. Then what I did was tried my best to get contacts. So tried to get someone who is specific in dealing with domestic violence, somebody who is specific in dealing with drugs and alcohol, you know, rehabilitation, all these things. So when someone reaches out to me, I'm standing as the bucket, taking it all in and going, yes, 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 making sure they're heard, and then going, listen, I have somebody that's better than me. Yeah. Let's go and speak to them. And I've helped them move people from my inbox to the guy that I know that helps with addiction recovery, to the other whoever it needs to be to try and help them. There's some people out there, I've actually took them to counselling meetings with people. I've took them to other people. I've sat on Zooms with other people just to give them the reassurance and the comfort that this is the right decision that you're making and this is the help that you need to get. That's
phenomenal, Graeme. That is really phenomenal. You should be very proud of yourself for that. You really should.
Being proud of it's the thing I struggle with the most, because I do, up until recently, have had a massive problem with being proud of what I have done always in life, because I'm always going, right, okay, that was great, but what's next? What more do I need to do? What more do I need to do? What more do I need to do? But when I look back on it now, I am very proud of that, because there's some really, really, obviously can't give you details, like, but there's some really good success stories like in that, like really good success stories in that, and the feeling of having that influence on somebody else's life is, there's nothing in life that you could give me that would give me the same feeling as doing that.
Nothing material, you know, even come close.
Now listen, it doesn't work out all the time, you know, it doesn't work out with everybody. We don't get everybody the right help and support that they need. At the end of the day, and as brutal as this sounds, the job's on you. I can drag you kicking and screaming by the fucking ankles, but you have to come to the party here.
That's it.
You know, there's no saviour.
You can take the horse to the water.
Exactly.
You can't make them drink in it.
I'm not the fixer. I'm just the bus to get there.
Yeah.
You know, but it's very, very needed, and that is where the Are You OK sessions came from. Because if I'm signposting all these people and I'm doing what I can within that, I never ask anybody for money for stuff like that. Anybody that's struggling with their mental health to the point where they need professional help.
Yeah.
Anybody out there, I'll call you out on it. You take so much as fucking 50p off them, you may hope you don't run into me, because it's the most scummy thing that you could do when someone's on the floor. So I decided I would do an awful lot of stuff that I could, as much as I could, in the volunteering side of it, which is all to do with the mental health and not the self-development stuff. Now listen, there's people that have come to some of the events that I've ended up working with out the back of it too, which has been great, because they've got their specific trauma sorted out, or specific problem sorted, and then we've developed on all their systems and things, and they've grown, and that's fine. But there's such a body of people out there that need help, and they're sitting here, and the help is here. You know, we talk so much about there should be more support for mental health, there should be more support for this, there should be more support for that. There are people on this side.
There were more people like you.
There's people on this side that are volunteering. Do you know what I mean? Outside of the health service, there's people on this side that are volunteering for different charities, different organisations and whatever. But it's the gap. It's the bridge. It's getting the people that need the help to the people that have the help. It's that. It's getting that. You know, for men, it's ego.
Yeah.
You know, it's ego. You know, for women, it's slightly different. You know, but it's bridging that gap. So we had sort of sat down, me and a friend of mine, and was like, what could I do? What could I do to sort of to help this? And one of the first things it did was, where the Are You OK campaign came from originally was, I set up like a 1-page website, and on the website there's a wee quick video of me saying, hello, listen, see if you're in despair, here's a list of 8 numbers for the main, I can't obviously put them all on, the main, crisis charities or the main crisis helplines. All the links, you click it, takes you straight to their website, or you hit the button and your phone starts ringing, right? And what it did was, it connected that to a QR code and called for what it is. Where I live, in my opinion, is where I want to serve the most right now, because there's so much going on that's needed. I printed out the QR code on there, about 10,000 stickers, and I started walking around when I was out doing my danders and my walks. Bus stops, put one there, phone boxes, anywhere that I thought somebody would catch their eye. And it was just a square, just an orange sticker, says, are you okay at the top, ? And the QR code. Yeah. And if you scan it, it takes you straight to that website.
Amazing.
And I just started putting them everywhere. I put them like literally everywhere. Like, people were taking photographs of them and going, fuck's sake, you more of these stickers up.
Are you getting many hits on this?
Loads. So the QR code, I can track the hits and I can sort of see roughly where they are. But the bottom of the page, there's a box where you can open up and send me a message, as well as go through the charities.
Looked at it. Yeah,
you do get plenty of messages through. You do get plenty of messages through. But I started putting these up, and then people from the council were torturing me about, it's graffiti and you're defacing it, and TransLink were getting fucked off, and I didn't care, because it was just like, it's the right thing to do. But I am convinced somebody was coming out behind me and taking them down or putting mark. I swear to God, there was so many of them that I went up and I was like, I definitely put one on that, and you could see where it had been peeled off. And then I stopped putting it on the social media that I was out doing it. I just started putting them here, there, and everywhere, and just tried to work. My plan was to do the whole country, but I never got that far. I just kind of work out round.
Yeah.
And I still put them up every now and again, but off the back of that, then I was like, there must be an event I could run. There must be something I could do to get people talking, get people talking, because the only thing for a lot of people in that regard that I was doing was getting them to speak. Because once they speak, I can go, okay, dead on, go there.
Yeah.
Let's go there, So I come up with the idea with John, Big Fat Barbershop, give him a plug. And literally, and again, like, nothing happens by accident, right? Everything happens for a reason. I was walking. Most of my family's from the Shore Road, North Belfast. I took myself out one day. I was like, I'm going to go for a big long dander. I'm going to try and work out what I'm going to do with this. And I walked down past where my nanny lived, and down the bottom of Greencastle, this skip was outside one of these empty units. And I was like, oh, somebody's putting something in that unit. I wonder what it is. And the next thing, out walks John. John and me used to work together in Tesco's like 100 years ago, right? And he'll tell you, we had some good times. Like, he's a really, really good fella. And I says, what are you doing? And he was like, opening a barbershop. I already knew about his beard oil company, and he was like, I'm opening a barbershop. I was like, class. I was like, unbelievable. He lived in the Whitewell Road, right round from where he was. I was like, unbelievable, John. That is absolutely class. He's like, what are you doing? And I'd had these notions and ideas with a couple of other people, actually with another couple of barbers, about running some sort of event in a barbershop. And I was like, could I run an event in his barbershop? Right? I sent him a message. I was like, what about this? Close the barbershop one night, bring a whole load of your customers in, and literally just let them talk about whatever they want to talk about. And he was like, do it. He's like, just get it done. We had that conversation either. John's either 100 mile an hour, you can't get him. Like, he was like, do it. Get it done. Get a date and we'll do it.
Amazing.
And that's where that first one came from. We shut his barbershop on a Thursday night for like an hour, and we had about 6 or 7 people turned up, and like, we were literally kicking them out after 11, because it just had kept going. My thought on it was, there's so many good events and stuff out there. There's so many cracker speakers. But the biggest problem in everybody's life, right across the board, not even with your mental health, is taking action, is actually doing something. Yeah. So we'll go to all these events, we'll listen to all these cracker people speak, we'll come up with all these great ideas, we go home, we go to bed, and we start our life again in the morning the exact same way we did the day before. So I was like, how can I force people to take action? Yeah. So in the room, I literally went, my name's Graeme, this is where I come from, this is what I do, that's John, this is his barbershop, go.
Really?
Yeah, and the whole room was like, I was like, go.
How many people did you this event?
Six or seven, roughly.
Yeah. All meal?
All meal, bar one.
Wow.
I was like, just go. What? I was like, you know why you're here? This is a safe space for you to discuss your problems. Go. And it was like silence. It was like rabbit in the headlights. Everybody was like, fuck, I'm not fucking talking. But that went on for about 20 minutes, and then somebody opened up, somebody else opened up, somebody else opened up, somebody else opened up.
It's phenomenal. That's what I'm saying.
You've seen it, you know what I mean? It's just
yeah. And I mean, we were the one we were at was 2 hours. I think we were there over 3.
Yeah, they were literally, Steph was literally kicking us out the door by the end of it. Yeah, that's what happened. It was like somebody came to the party, says, "I'm going through this, I don't know what to do," and then somebody else pipes up and goes, "Wow, I'm going through that, and I think I'm the only person in the world." Like the conversations that come out of these things were just mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like I sat for a lot of my own event in silence because I was like, look at what's happening in this. Like, look at what's happening in this room. You know, we'd done that one, and then John and me had done another one, and you know, same again, different faces. People had come, and like the stuff people were sharing was just out of this world. You know, and everybody's coming away from it going, like, I feel lighter. Some people had never spoke to anybody before, so that was their first experience. Other people had went through something and came to talk about their story because they'd never really talked it out to make sense of it. Now that they're past it, like some of the stuff that came out of it, like was just, it was mind blowing. And at that stage, I was like, you need to keep this. You need to keep this going. These are so good that you need to keep this going. So we've done a couple last year, and then this year I just went balls to the wall and was like, right, there you go. Here's what I'm offering. Message me, get me booked in, and the page just went mental. Like Steph and Fiona were the first two. They were like, right, when are you coming? Straight away. Is it? Yeah, dead on 100%. But we've done I think we've done 6 now all together. Brilliant. And I've another 2 in July, and then I closed the books. I was trying to book them for all year, but then it just got that busy that it was like, I'm doing 2 a month, and then that's all I can cope with, you know.
Well, while we're talking about this, I feel that we should mention you're actually coming to Carrickfergus and hosting 1 or possibly 2 in my friend Nikki's page, who is Nicola Michelle Aesthetics. Hopefully 1 for men and hopefully one for women. So if anybody out there feels that they need this or is interested in just coming along. Yeah.
That's the power of this. There's someone that has been it, has seen the benefit of it, and then has taken the initiative to go, there's other people around me that need this. So we're gonna go and do it, you know. But those have been eye-opening because every one we go to, there's something different. Like the one that we were at in East Belfast, like, it was the first all-female group that I had done. Yeah. You know, and I was kind of like, all right.
How did you feel? Is it obviously being the only male in the room?
I don't mean this from an arrogant way. I have a lot to bring to the table, right? I don't want to sound like a prick, but I have a lot to bring to the table, and I have helped a whole load of different people with a whole load of different things. I don't have experience of everything in life, but I've got a different perception of a lot of stuff in life based on everything that I've been through and everything I've worked on. So I knew coming to this that it would be as good as all the rest of them. It was just like, I don't really know an awful lot about women's problems, you know. It was like, if it starts going that way, I'm like, I'm out. She's crack on. But no, it was a challenge because it was the first all totally female, you know, female group that I work with en masse. But it was brilliant. Yeah, it was brilliant. I had really good time with that one, like, you know, and you know, it's obviously a private space. We don't talk about what went on, but a lot of emotion in the room. You know, there was a lot of stuff that was shared that was hard for me to hear too. You know, I'm still human. Yeah. You know, I'm still human. A lot of stuff that was hard for me to hear too. But again, off the back of that, you know, people have come away with different perspectives. Other people want to do different things. Other people are reaching out and going, do you think I could do this or move into this or try that? Nikki's got 2 she wants to do. Yeah. You know, the growth of it's insane. That's it.
It really is. Going back to, you said about destination, and we had a conversation about this off camera. Yeah. Everybody's trying to get to the destination. We're rushing to the destination. And I was probably going back as far as 2 years, was in a position where I was getting married. Yeah. And all I could think about was get married, spend the money, do this.
You wised up though, didn't you?
Oh, I wised up, all right. I wised up and got rid of him. But yeah, I was so focused on this destination, this one day, and it's actually supposed to be tomorrow. But anyway, I was so focused on this destination that, I wasn't aware that my mental health was going down rapidly. And I wasn't dealing with it. So what's your perspective on this? Because this is a big thing at the minute, and a lot of people are talking about it.
3 most important things in your life, bar none, right? From my perspective, I never tell you that my way is the way, the truth, the light, and the Bible, right? Yeah. But if you're out there and it's not working, I guarantee you my way's fucking better than yours at the minute. Your people, your purpose, and your projected image of what you want life to look like.
Yeah.
Those are the three things. If you want to take the most basic approach to this, those are the three most important things. If you look at your projected image of what you want life to look like, that is your dream, right? So yes, you have to have a destination in that regard, right? That is what I am working towards, no matter what it is, right? I don't care. You know, if you want to go to Africa and manage a herd of elephants, I don't give a fuck what you want to do. It's your dream, and you have to have that as your pinpoint. That's where I'm going. However, everything doesn't go into that basket, right? Happiness is not a destination.
Yeah.
Success is not a destination. Fulfillment and enlightenment is not a destination. All those things are only existing within the present moment. You cannot have the language of, I will be happy when. I will feel successful when. I know that I will be enlightened when. Right? You're putting it in the distance. What happens with that is, that has become those are the things that you then chase. And you say to yourself, I can't be happy unless I have that. I can't be happy unless I'm doing this with that person. I can't be happy unless I have that amount of money.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit, because what that does is it forces you to go down paths that you shouldn't go down. It pushes you to rush things that shouldn't be rushed. It gets you to be involved with people that you shouldn't be involved with. And I'm talking about this from a place of experience, from a man in his early 20s that was busting to try and get settled down, get a house, get kids and all the rest of it. I ended up in the wrong relationships with the wrong people, doing the wrong things.
That's exactly.
Because that, for me, is where happiness was.
Yeah.
That is going to be a key factor in my happiness. Happiness exists in the present moment. Success exists in the present moment with everything you do on a daily basis. If you're saying to me that I am not happy, you just need to do one thing today that would make you happy.
Yeah.
For 15 fucking minutes. See, tomorrow, 20 minutes. See, the day after, half an hour. See, the day after, an hour.
Yeah.
And before you know it, happiness exists.
That's
happiness isn't the destination. Happiness exists. And that's true for success and all these other things that you want to talk about. They are not the destination. What you want to create is your destination. But those things are all feelings that live inside of you every single day that you have complete control over. Controversial to say, because a lot of things in life just happen and go really, really wrong, and you're going, well, how can you be happy about this? And how can you be happy about that? It lives inside of you every single day. What you think affects how you feel. What you feel affects what you do and what you say. And what you do and what you say give you your results.
Yeah.
The results you get affect the thinking you do and the opinions you have of what you've just done. That's the cycle. So if you can start to look at it in a different way, start to think about things in a different way, the cycle starts.
Yeah.
And you go around once, and you go around again, and you go around again, and you go around again.
Just you saying about the cycle, I seen something on your Instagram about, you said it really changed your perception of things, about the circle of people's trauma, and then the circle of, what was it, your purpose? Was it your purpose or
your people, your purpose, and your projected images are the three things that I always talk about. Your trauma is valid, right? Yeah. Everybody's trauma is valid. Have you ever sat with somebody and went, she's in a fucking mood here, he's in a mood here, a bit dramatic? Have you ever? We've all done that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. How dare you? You know, how dare you? If you have somebody that is sitting there that is getting triggered by such a fickle thing, whatever it is that's triggering them isn't the problem.
Yeah.
It's that they've been holding in whatever that's unlocked for such a fucking long time. You know? I always say to people, your trauma is always valid. You could go through something that in the grand scheme of things, from being okay to death, is a 7, right? And you have an emotional reaction to that, right? Somebody else could have one that's a 3 and have the same emotional reaction.
Yeah.
They're allowed to. However, after they've had it, we need to pull a bit of perspective in and say, right, okay, there's something we need to work on here, because we're not really entitled to be as emotionally attached to a 2 or a 3 as we are to a 7. We need to look at your resilience. We need to look at your coping mechanisms. We need to look at what it is that's actually triggering you. Everybody's trauma is valid. We're so quick to say to people, aye, whatever.
Just get on with it.
Get on with it. Sure, she's got it worse than you. Hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. They're worse than you. How dare you?
Yeah.
Everybody's reaction in the moment comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
It's about your own cup spilling over, basically.
100%. You know, you can only hold on to stuff for so long until it comes out. We've all seen it. You know, you've all seen someone that has got drastically emotional or has, you know, flew off the handle about something. But when we get into it afterwards, it's not that one thing that's done it. It's a compound effect of other things that have went on, or something else that they haven't dealt with, or something else that's going on in their life in another area.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. That's a real shift that you have to have as someone who is working with other people, because you have to then go, right, okay, no, you're entitled to feel like that. What? I feel like I'm being so dramatic. No, you get out whatever you need to get out here, because once we get the emotion out of the way, once we deal with emotion, then we can move from that emotional thinking brain into that logical thinking brain and go, okay, how do we stop this from happening again? What do we need to do? What do you need to work on? Where are we going? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Do you know? It's real. Allow yourself is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Allow yourself.
Yeah.
You know, find the spaces to be emotional, get those things out. You know, let the air out of the balloon, but allow yourself.
Yeah.
You're entitled to do that. Don't ever think to yourself, I shouldn't be feeling like that. We'll do that later. Get it out now.
Yeah.
Get it out.
It's also refreshing to hear you say about journaling as well, because I know there is a lot of hype about journaling, and I do journal myself, and I think it's amazing. But even for a man to say that they're journaling, you know, it is amazing to hear some, you know, coming from a male perspective.
The best friend you'll ever have, the best two friends you'll ever have, is a pen and paper.
Yeah.
They are the best two friends you'll ever have, because they never judge you. They're always there, and they always listen.
Yeah.
Every day. You know, and where that came from for me was, I forget things all the time. Like, I'm the worst. So I've always got Post-its or something, you know, lying everywhere. But I used to have a book that when I had an idea, I just wrote it down on it, because I would forget it.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to do that. Oh, what was I going to do? What way I was going to word that? What way was... And I started writing things down. And then that developed into, when I was going through my change, just in the morning, writing down how I was feeling and writing down 3 things I was grateful for just that day. The end of the night, writing down how I felt about the day, and then writing 3 things I was grateful for from that day.
Yeah.
You know, gratitude's a fucking game changer. Like,
it really
gratitude
really
is a game changer, but it's so misunderstood.
Yeah.
It's so misunderstood, and it goes back to the whole thing of, you can be grateful for all the good things, but how can you be grateful for bad things? You know, that the way that you need to look at gratitude is that when it comes to your negative experiences or things that you've been through in life, you will never change that experience. You will never be able to turn around and say, that was actually good. Right?
Yeah.
Bullshit, right? Somebody dies, somebody gets sick, something happens. If you sit and you think about that event, it's always going to be bad. It's always going to bring back those emotions and feelings. It's always going to make you feel shit, right? Your brain is the smartest thing in the world and the stupidest thing in the world at the same time, because it believes whatever you tell it. If you're sitting there and you're constantly thinking about the bad thing, your brain will replay that.
Yeah.
Your brain will then instruct the body, we're going through a trauma here. You'll start to release all those chemicals out of your brain and into your body, up to about 80% of the chemicals that were actually released whenever you went through it. Right?
Wow.
That's the science and the fact of it, right? However, the polar opposite of that is also true. If you can think and visualize the good things, and you can think and visualize on good experiences, you will feel better.
Yeah.
So that thing that you think about that is terrible will always be terrible. So it's not a game of, I'm going to look at that and say it was fun. No, it's not that. That will always be terrible, right? And that's this bit.
Yeah.
Where the gratitude is the ring around that. So what came from that is now better, good, more favourable, or an advantage, right? So an example that I will give you, and I don't mind sharing this one. My nanny passed away about 3 years ago. It's actually 3 years tomorrow, actually. Wow. 3 years tomorrow. 4 years tomorrow. I should know that. Anyway, bit of friction in the family, as there always is between siblings, and a lot of people didn't talk for an awful long time. Years. The ins and outs of it I don't fully understand or I'm aware of. It's just the way it was.
Okay.
Something that she would have always wanted was for everybody just to get back together again, because we're all so big, we're all so close. There's grandkids, there's great grandkids, like everybody back together again. She passed away, and that was horrible. Right? That was a terrible, terrible, terrible experience for us all. But off the back of that, conversations were had, relationships were rekindled. Now, is it back to completely tripping over everybody, happy families, best of mates? Absolutely not. But that is something that I now have in my gratitude ring for that experience.
Yeah.
And that is a hard thing to wrap your head around, but that is something that is good, that has come out of something that is bad.
Yeah.
And that is where your gratitude is. Your gratitude is not changing the thing that went wrong and telling yourself, lying to yourself that it was good. It's, if you look at it as two circles, the bad thing's in the middle and there's another ring around it. Your job is to put as many things as you can into that outer ring, so that whenever you look back on those bad experiences and you get that feeling and you start to feel all those emotions again, you go, hold on a wee second. Let's just sit and think of all the good stuff. Don't forget your bad stuff, but let's think about the good stuff. Let's think of the positives, the advantages, and everything else that we've got out of it.
Yeah. About reframing it.
Completely.
And also about the growth.
100%.
Because that's what I've done with a lot of my trauma, is reframed it, and the amount of growth that have come out of it, how I've changed, how I'm sitting here, I couldn't talk on camera, and different things like that. So yeah, I totally get it.
It's something that people get wrong so often because they're so attached to, how can you tell me that's good? You know, I say this to people all the time and I get a bit of flack for it. Challenge me. Come to me and tell me about your bad thing and I'll find something good in it.
Yeah.
Come and tell me and I'll find something good in it. You know? Not for everything. There are a few exceptions out there. Don't get me wrong. It has backfired once or twice. But 9 times out of 10, you and me together will find something good that's come out of it. And that just totally changes the angle that you look at it. Everything in life's a perception.
It
you
is.
know, my 6 on this table is a 9 to you. You know, my disadvantage is your advantage. My misery is your miracle.
Yeah.
It's all about how we perceive the things around us. Life's just going to happen. We have very little control over what comes at us, but what we do have massive control over is how we deal with it when it comes. So it's like a tool belt. How many tools can you get onto this belt so that when the next job comes, you've got the right thing to deal with it? It's a dumbed down way to look at it, but that is all we have to do.
Yeah.
Build that resilience, have the skills, so that as these things come, we can get over the hurdles. Because life is just a collection of problems that come at you one after the other. And the difference between a good life and a not so good life, or a less favourable life, is how quickly and how well you can deal with those whenever they come.
Well, that's very true. And, you know, the positive life and the negative life, people sort of think, well, to have a positive life, you have to think positive all the time, which is not true.
No.
You have to go through the emotions. You have to not suppress them. You have to let them out.
The shit's the shit.
That's
Right?
it.
Let the shit be the shit. Right? But your job is to limit the period of suffering.
Yeah.
So how long am I going to allow this to affect me? How long am I going to leave this before I stick my hand up and ask for help? How long am I going to go through this before I realise this is a pattern and it's happened again and again and again, and that I'm going to make changes?
Yeah.
Because that bit there where you get caught in the woe is me, life is shit, I can't believe it, that's the danger zone. That's the danger zone. The longer that goes on, the harder it is to come out of.
Yeah.
I always say that there's 3 tiers in life. There's thriving, surviving, and there's fighting. And none of them can be maintained without effort.
Yeah.
Surviving, unfortunately, you will maintain it until you're exhausted. And whenever you're exhausted, you drop into fighting. And when you're in fighting, it's not a case of, how do I pick myself up here and feel better? It's, I'm in the crisis zone. How, like, we're talking about potentially life saving here now.
Yeah.
What do I need to do? And it's all about what you're prepared to do within your suffering. How long am I going to let this affect me for? How long am I going to sit here before I do something about it? Just that wee window. And that's the difference. Someone who has a good life on paper doesn't have no problems. That's what we're sold. You go on Instagram, you go on the internet, that's what we're sold. I can go to Dubai and I can live and do 20 minutes work on a laptop every day and life's sweet, there's no issues.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
That is not true.
Bullshit.
It's like, I watched your story yesterday and I laughed so hard. It was like, that is so true. People, the likes, the photographs and whatever, you're putting it out there and these people don't give a shite about you.
Don't care. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody. We get so heavily invested in what people think about us.
We do.
And they literally will see something that might get triggered by us, and 2 seconds later it's like, I'm way to do shopping. Like, they don't. Nobody sits in the house and ruminates over one thing that you've put on social media or something that you've said or something that you've.
Yeah.
They don't do it. Evil people do. There's a couple of them. I've experienced them in my time on TikTok, but nobody gives a fuck. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You know, you've 3,000 people on Instagram that follow you. Great. Many of them are your friends. Oh, well, I know them all. Dead on. Ring one of them at 3 o'clock in the morning. Ring them and ask them for help. Tell them you're in a do or die situation. Yeah. Many people are going to lift the phone, never mind come and get you, come and help you. Next to fucking none. And that's whenever I talk about your people being a core part of your belief system in your life,
Yeah.
you have to really, 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 really understand what people are for you and what people aren't. So many of us have people through association, right? Up until a point in my life, I had a load of people in my life
Yeah.
that were just there because they were there. You know, they were just there because they were there. They weren't of any great importance to me. They weren't of any great value. They were drinking partners. They were just there. They were gap fillers. But we hold on to those people and we go, they're really important to me.
Yeah.
You know, oh, we went through this together, or we went there, or we went on that trip, or he's my this, or she's my... Bullshit. Who are the most important people in your life? And that starts with your codependents, your partner, and someone that's got a track record of showing up for you.
Yeah.
You know, someone that's got a track record of digging you out of a hole, and likewise you've dug them out of a hole.
Yeah.
Everything that you do, every decision that you make, have a think about those people. See everybody else? Fuck them. Like, fuck them. You go onto my social media, my Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook, or whatever. I just say it the way it is.
That's very
right?
true.
I literally shoot from the hip because I have no desire to be the inauthentic marketing, you know, oh, I'm going to make myself look great for social media here.
Yeah.
To get so many people to buy my stuff, to get so many people into my funnel, to click on my... Bullshit. I don't give a fuck, right? I only care about the people that get me, right? I say what I say because that's the way I speak, right?
Yeah.
My mum doesn't like it, right? But it is what it is, right? It's just the way it
My
is.
family doesn't like this either.
It's just the way it is, right? If I see something that I don't agree with, I'll tell you. You know, if I see something that's wrong, I'll stand up for it. If there's an injustice going on, I'll make my voice heard. And it's not because I want to be the center of attention or I want to be controversial or whatever. It's I only want to have impact on people that get it.
Exactly.
The hate that I get for that is unreal. Like, it is off the chart.
Really?
My TikTok inbox is just flooded, like literally flooded with hate. The comments and stuff and all, they're mad. They're actually mad. They're people just completely venting and throwing.
Do you call them out? Do you go for it? Or because I have had massive trolls on TikTok, and I was advised either it's up to you, just do it, call them out or whatever. And I was like, right, to hell with it, I'm just gonna go for it. And I did. I spent an hour and a half on it, and then afterwards I was like, why did I even waste my time on them dicks?
No. In the beginning, I had a following on Instagram. Instagram's different because you're only really in contact with people that want to be in contact with you, whereas TikTok, it's just fucking whoever. When I set a TikTok page up, I was told, woo, get ready. I was like, sweet, no bother me. And literally, first couple of videos, horrendous. Like, some of the stuff that was being said was crazy. And it pissed me off. It really did piss me off because it was like, I'm in this space trying to help people.
Yeah.
And you're shitting on me for it? Who the fuck are you? You know, it did piss me off, but it pissed me off and I made a bit of a stab at trying to fix it, and that it was like, okay, so why did you say that? What is it? The way I look at it is, if you're triggered by me, it's not the trigger, right?
Yeah.
I've put pressure onto something that you haven't dealt with or is a pain point or you don't want to face or has went on. It isn't exactly what I'm saying, but it's that something I've said is fucking light bulbs went on in your head, and you've decided that the easiest thing to do is to vent to make you feel better.
Yeah.
So I went on this endeavor of, I could change people's opinions here. You know, I could turn people around. People don't think I'm a dick. They just think what I've said has hurt them, right? So I did. I went on this messaging everybody back and responding to them all, and this went on for ages. But it's exhausting. Like, it is exhausting. And I got to the stage where at one point I turned the comments off on my TikTok. I just shut them down. I was like, no more. I put a video up saying, listen, I'm not doing this because I'm so annoyed with all the hate. What was happening was there was people on the TikTok that were emptying me. Somebody else was coming down below me and defending me. And then those two people were getting into a fight the whole way down the chat.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to facilitate a space where people could get on like that. So I was like, just cut it. Just do it. But I did it. I shut it off, put the video up, and I must have got 20 messages from all people in the production space who went, you're actually insane. Says, because every comment that's made just boosts your engagement. It gets you in front of more eyes. It gets you that. And I was like, nope, not interested, stubborn, not happening, not doing it. And then for a month, my TikTok died.
Really?
Died.
Because of that?
Because of that. Because no comments, no engagement. So we brought it back, and then when we brought it back, it all started up again, blah, blah, blah. And I ended up with like 4 or 5 people that were just every video, constant. There was a fella who does another very popular podcast, had asked me questions about how you deal with this, because he was getting an awful lot of flack.
Yeah.
And he's doing he's in what he's doing is amazing. The job he's in, it's amazing, right? And I have a load of time for him. But he was like, how do you deal with it? How do you cope with it? And I said, look, well, I went through this wee phase of chipping back at people, and saying stuff back. And he says, I'm going to do that too. And he kind of got caught into the cycle that I got caught into at the start. But the funny thing about it was, there was 3 or 4 people that were giving me constant shit. And it was the same 3 or 4 people that were giving him constant shit too.
Yeah. I think it's these people that are
same accounts.
sitting on the couch doing nothing.
The thing that we worked out was, we tried to see if we could open up dialogue with these people, right? The 2 of us then went on this endeavour. We'll try and suss these people out. We get into contact with a couple of them, and what we worked out was, a lot of them are kids. A lot of these ones that are just user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kids, and you only got to know that whenever we got them to engage in conversation.
Because you know,
and we're like, there's so many people out there that are worrying about what people are saying, and these are literally kids that are on talking shit online. To be fair, there was another guy. I think I told you about this. The guy in Scotland.
Oh yes, you did.
I was sending me death threats in the inbox. I'm gonna get you. I'm coming for you. You watch your back, and you don't know who I know, and blah blah blah. And I was like, fucking hell, wasn't worried about it, but we done a bit of digging and investigation and all the rest of it. And as it turns out, the guy has no legs. He has one arm. He's a drug addict and a heroin addict, and he's bedbound. And he's just, God love him. He's just sitting every day.
It's engagement. It's someone to even.
Yeah, I genuinely feel sorry for him. My heart does go out to him. But then again, there's someone that's doing that, and somebody else could be getting seriously affected by that stuff. You know. So now do I worry about it? Absolutely not. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care in all aspects. If you don't understand my stuff, whatever. If you don't like my TikTok, whatever. There are still pockets of people then that come through and go, that's exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I need to do. And the funny thing that has happened, and I've only really noticed it in the last 18 months or so, is when I first started doing this, you're like a gimmick. It was like a gimmick. People thought it was a show. And there was other people in the self-development space who are doing far, far better than me. We're going, wrong. What you're doing is wrong. Like, this is so stupid and all. One, why do you give a fuck? You're off here making your millions. Why do you care about me? But tell me that I was wrong. Then now, 18 months down the line, there's a lot of lemons are coming to me now and going, you're onto something here.
Come and speak at my event.
I've kind of went from a gimmick in a lot of people's eyes to then getting the respect for what it is that I'm actually doing.
And no wonder.
Then that I'm just cutting through the shit.
Yeah.
It's very, very easy for coaches to shit on other coaches for their own style, right?
I can't stand that.
Right?
Really, really can't.
That's not what we're about. If you take the broad spectrum of people that need help, there is a place for everybody.
Yeah.
But what you can't do is shotgun tactics to try and scoop everybody, because then you don't build the relationships that you should build. You don't get the message across in the right way. Your people are your people. And that was one of the things that I didn't like about the self-development space that I hold my hands up, got conned by, was a lot of the blanket statements, a lot of the blanket specifics. And, there's people out there that I couldn't build a relationship with now because of the way they speak. So there's a space for everybody. There's a lane for everybody. Everybody can help people. Everybody can have impact. But don't shit on anybody for going after their own people.
Exactly.
Don't shit on anybody that's trying to target a specific niche, for want of a better word. My niche is people that get to that sort of 25, 30 mark and feel stuck. And the vast majority of people that I want to help or have helped, they're working class normal people that life has just literally got them choked.
Yeah.
They feel like they're drowning. That's the people that I help. And the language that I use and the way that I do it, they're the people that I attract because of that. So yeah, I don't give a fuck what people say. I'm not asked.
You can see that,
yeah.
But that's why I wanted you to come on as well, Graeme, because I think you're fantastic and what you're doing is absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
And the fact that you're giving up your own time, people don't understand. I mean, I'm sitting here giving up my own time, and people think I get paid for this.
Yeah,
I pay for this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I could listen to you all day. Honestly, I think you're phenomenal.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
So, what's the best way for people to find you?
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook are the 3 main ones. ulstermotivational.co.uk, like I say, gets you through that one pager with the help stuff on it, and there's a chat box bit at the bottom. And most of, if not all of my social media has my work mobile number on it, so WhatsApp me.
Yeah,
happy enough.
Well, Graeme, I really want to thank you for coming on, and especially for being the first male guest.
I know. I feel really proud of that. Like, you know,
You should be big, you should be very, very
conquering
proud.
the all women's space. There you go. There's me talking about staying in my lane and keeping them in niche. Fuck.
Yeah, very, very true. But you were brilliant, honestly.
Thank you very much for
really,
having me.
really. Thank you very, very much.
No bother.